Okay, next I'm going to show you some classic jiu-jitsu movements that you absolutely need to incorporate into your workouts, whether they're warming up for jiu-jitsu or you're just doing this at home by yourself. Or keep in mind, if you're introducing a friend to jiu-jitsu, oftentimes people get into jiu-jitsu because they saw the sign on the billboard, they saw an ad on Facebook or Instagram. But oftentimes people get into jiu-jitsu because a friend won't stop talking about it. And oftentimes that friend gives them an introductory jiu-jitsu lesson in the living room. After a few beers, after watching UFC, a friend's going to say, hey, I want to learn that jiu-jitsu stuff you're doing. I would encourage you to not just grab them and put them in an armbar. I would encourage you to show them some of the stuff that I'm about to go over. Okay? So, getting on your back. Okay? Learning how to get up, bridge, escape hips, come back down to the ground, okay, and move around in your stance. Okay, this is stuff that I really enjoy doing by myself, and if I'm going to introduce somebody to jiu-jitsu, this is going to be one of the first things that I show them. Okay, so the idea of bridging. And I remember doing this the other day with a new student, and their bridge was so awkward, I suppose. So it's going to take some time for people to develop this and make it look right and actually work properly. Okay, so the idea is like to get up onto your shoulder here. Okay, is to get up onto your shoulder and do a little left-right action. A little right, a little left, and you can even get up onto your neck. Depending how strong your neck is, you might want to get this hand positioning like that so you can help get up onto your neck. And this will warm you up. You might not want to go so fast. You might want to pick up the speed. Okay, you might want to bridge up and over into here. Okay, this might be a good beginner introduction movement to a jiu-jitsu student, okay, that you absolutely have to know. Another one is learning how to bring your feet close to your butt so that you can scoot your butt, okay? Now, you can do that dynamically or you can do it minimally, all right? So like one way that I introduce it to students is to just, without really going too far to the right or too far to the left, is just learn how to crawl across the mat like this. Okay? Like so. And how to go backwards doing the same thing. Notice my arms are in. The other day I was working with this new student, and this new student kept like letting their arms drop out like this. And I had to say, tuck those arms in. And the student would go, oh yeah, like that. Now to me, this was very foreign. I was like, seeing somebody do this was kind of disturbing to me. You know, in jiu-jitsu, you're going to want to learn to keep your arms tucked in. So keep that in mind as you're doing this, that your arms stay in like so, and your hands kind of take this position. Okay, so I just kind of have students learn how to move back and forth like this without really large sideways right or left movements. This is called escaping the hips. Okay, this is baby steps for escaping the hips. Okay, because eventually escaping the hips can turn into all the way to the right, all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and even further. You can even go further with it and really shoot your hips back. So look at the difference between this introductory type movement, right? And then the same movement, way more dynamically. Notice that I'm now simulating pushing my opponent's knees. This later will come into play when you're trying to catch half guards, which are a big theme in jiu-jitsu, okay? Look how I can explode. Look at this type of movement. Look at me shooting. Okay? I've seen people who are even like white and blue belts in jiu-jitsu, and I'll have them do this work, I'll have them do this type of movement, and they just look so clumsy and awkward with it. And it's like, how did you get past being good at this and get into jiu-jitsu so much already, but not be able to do these movements and not do them fluidly? Okay, so, and I'll show this to people, they'll be like, Jeff, wow, you move so amazing. And it's like, it's because I do this stuff, and I'm disciplined with this stuff, and you really need to be. And like I said before, you're going to want to introduce new students to this stuff. This should be a big part of your initial introduction, your first steps in jiu-jitsu, is that you're good with these movements and you make them look good and it looks impressive to people. People should watch you do this and be like, wow, man, just watching you move is scaring me. Like it looks like you could kick my butt just by the way you're doing those movements by yourself. This might be the equivalent of being a good shadow boxer. If you've ever seen a good shadow boxer, you watch them, you'll be like, whoa, I don't want to engage with that guy. How do we do that in jiu-jitsu? This kind of stuff, right? So notice how I can engage. Work with bridging, really stretched out, big dynamic bridges up onto my neck. Try to go as far onto my head as I can, okay? And slowly but surely, you'll open up these movements and get better at them. And I combine that with escaping the hips. I can do my little minimal escapes, and I can do my big dynamic escapes. You can do 2, 3 on one side. 1, 2, 3. Let's make it 4, 5, 6, 7. Then let's hit a bridge. Bow. Let's hit a bridge. Bow. Let's hit 7 on the other side. 1, 2. I'm slowly but surely picking up the movement. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then a bridge. And a bridge. And now even doing this now, I'm already starting to warm up. I can feel a little bit of, not sweat, but I can feel my pores starting to open up. I can feel my breathing starting to be affected. And that's another thing too, is learning to control your breathing. Like watch me now as I slow down my breathing. That's another thing you want to gain control of as you get good at jiu-jitsu and as you're introduced to jiu-jitsu, is learn how to understand your breathing a lot better. Okay, you're going to want to take deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And a lot of people teach you this. They'll teach you this in yoga. They'll teach you this in all kinds of other stuff, okay? Slow down the breathing. Slow down the heart rate, okay? Because I just did a lot of explosive movements there, okay? And eventually you'll be able to do this for like an hour. An hour will go by doing these type of movements that I'm showing you guys. And it won't be a problem for you. And it won't be difficult. And I really think that this should be, like I said, part of your initial jiu-jitsu introduction is these types of movements. Okay? Next clip, I'll show you some more stuff.